back to Linda's Pantry, and today, as you see in the title, we're doing a little bit of how to care for your canner. Now, this is an all-American canner, and this is 921, I believe. Anyways, it holds either 16 pints or 7 quarts at a time. And so if I need more quarts done at one time, then I go ahead and pull out one of my Presto canners that also hold 7 quarts, but does not have the capability of stacking pint jars. So today we're doing a canning process, and I thought, I've been asked several times to go over how I care for my canner before and after a canning session. So I've just brought my canner out of the canning room. I went ahead, and it's always put away clean. I've got my water for my canning session already in here, and this requires a minimum of 3 inches of water in the bottom. And that equates to about 4 quarts of water, 3-4 quarts. I also always put vinegar in here, not just to keep my jars from getting cloudy from our hard water, but also to keep my canner in good working condition. Vinegar is a natural cleanser as well, so it keeps your pitcock clear for longer without a bunch of sediment and hard water mineral deposits adding up. And it keeps the inside of the canner nice and clean. So we're going to go ahead. If you've got hard water, you know what I'm talking about. You will get, the inside of your canner can get really icky looking. And these can also be used for cooking, but I haven't at this point, I haven't cooked anything inside the pressure canner. I use a pressure cooker that's smaller. So what I always do is, once I take the lid off, I take my racks out and my weight, I store them inside. And I'm going to show you in the next clip after the canning session how I store my canner and clean it. And I wash my canner after every canning session because I don't want to have to worry about it being dirty or smelly or anything like that. You should always wash it in between sessions. So I've already got my 1 canning rack in there, my water, and now my vinegar. What I've done here is, when I take the lid off, I always look at this pitcock, and I make sure I can see daylight through it. As long as you can see daylight through it, you're clear. You can actually stick a toothpick down in there if you feel like you want to be sure. And I just kind of inspect things, make sure that my gauge is in, where it should be. It's not loose, nothing's loose on here. Then I come to the inside, and you've got a rubber gasket here that would pop up. I want to make sure that that's solid in its place. That would pop up if it became too pressurized, if you got it too hot. And the way you would do that is you put it on high and walk away, and you really need to watch these. Make sure that they get up to the pressure you need, and then regulate it. You'll use less power, you'll have less liquid evacuate from your jars, and it's overall the best way to do a canning session. Now, you do want to make sure that you are putting petroleum jelly around the rim of the lid and the rim of the canner, and there's just a little angle here where this seats down. You want to make sure that this all gets a thin coat of petroleum jelly. And I like petroleum jelly. Oils tend to get thick and sticky, and this doesn't do that. Make sure I've got a coating of that on there, and I do it at least every other session, and totally okay if you're one of those people that, like I am, that needs to be in a habit. And just make it a habit of doing it every time. It's not going to hurt anything, but this is to prevent this from getting a metal-to-metal seal that you couldn't get back off. And then we're ready for our canning session, and today we're going to be canning some venison and some elk meat, making room in the freezer for other items, and it extends the shelf life of that meat. So I start this in early spring, and that way when fall comes and we're ready to go harvest another deer or an elk, if we're lucky enough to draw, then I've already put that meat back and we're not wasting any of it, and we've got it for future use. And let me tell you, it's fast food. Oh my goodness, so delicious. It's one of my favorite things to can. All right guys, so we're gonna do this canning session, and I'll bring you back for how I store my canner and what I do to get it prepped for storage. All right, see you in a minute. So now it's time to wash the canner, and you can feel that residue on your rack that I took off the top of the jars. And the canner looks like weak chicken broth, if that makes sense, the water that's in here. And it uses about 1 inch of water. I measure the amount of water because my finger is about 3 inches long, and you need 3 inches of water when you fill your canner. And so it evaporates about 1 inch of that water. You want to make sure that your canner always has enough water in it to do a full canning session, because if you run one of these canners dry, any kind of canner, you're going to ruin it. So that's the only thing that voids your lifetime warranty with this All-American canner. Otherwise, you're good to go. This thing will last me the rest of my life, and hopefully I'll be able to pass this on to someone that will be able to use it as well. So, I've got my canner racks in my hot soapy water. Get these washed up. And then I'm going to wash the canner. Now, I've heard some people say that you don't have to wash your canner in between sessions because it's never really coming in contact with food. But you degrade the quality of your canning session. Your lids and rings are exposed to that, and I just think, why would you spend this kind of money on something and not take care of it? I believe in taking excellent care of your canners, no matter what kind you have. So I'm just going to put these right on top of the jars, and so they can dry. And you want to make sure when you dry your canner, you get it completely dry before you put that lid on. I'm dumping out the water that's in here. And because this is so big, I do need to use the large side of my sink to wash this. And you're going to wash it like any other dish or pan in your house. And I like to get a good soak down first, and then I can get the water in there. All right, so when I'm all done, I'll show you how I put things away and get it ready so it's ready to go for my next canning session. I really want the ease of just grabbing it and starting a canning session without the hassle of, oh, you know what, I probably should rewash that. So, that being said, let's continue on with our little project here. Okay, so I like to put a paper towel down in the bottom when I'm storing it. First off, it'll grab any excess moisture that might be in there. And then I put my racks, which also have a towel between them, in here. And I've hand dried them. My weight gets stored inside my canner. And I do like to have extra things on hand. So if a part failed or one of these failed, I have a replacement right away, because there's nothing worse than, let's say you have a Presto canner and you go to do a canning session, you've got 8 pounds of meat all ready to go, and your gasket is bad. Or in this case, you misplace your weight, or one of your thumb screws breaks. Always have a replacement part available. So I'm going to set this over here. Actually, I'm going to set it on the stove. And now I take care of my lid. Same thing. I want to make sure that I maintain this lid's integrity and wash it with hot soapy water. I get a lot of mineral deposit out of the pitcock here because, well, we've got hard water. So wash the whole top with a hot soapy sponge. Scrub around that pitcock. Keep it looking nice. And then all around the rim of your canning lid. Be careful of your weighted gauge. So there you go. That's as easy as this is. I'm going to dry it and take it and put it to bed. I'm excited to show you guys my new canning shelves. We put up some more shelves and I'm going to reorganize everything. So I definitely want to show you. It might give you some idea of how you could redo your extended pantry, or maybe you can give me some ideas on what to do different. And I just want this a little bit cleaner around this pitcock. One more rinse and we're ready to dry. And then another note you may not have known, you can, if your, let's say your warning label on your actual canner itself or on your lid comes off, they're designed to stay on there during washing and everything, but let's say it came off or started peeling off, you can contact the company and they will send you another one for free, so you can get replacement stickers. And you definitely would want to make sure the stickers are in place just in case somebody else ends up using your canner for whatever reason. I would not loan out my All-American, but I would loan out one of my Prestos. And I've actually been asked if they, if somebody could borrow one of my canners, and I would rather volunteer to go help in the canning session and then to just say, here you go, because you don't know if they actually know what they're supposed to be doing or what kind of directions they're going to follow. So there's my clean and shiny lid ready to put on the canner, and I'll show you how I do this. I don't put the lid down tight, and that is because, once again, I don't want my canner to end up with strange odors in here because there was moisture. So I actually will put my lid on, but I'm going to leave it ajar. I'm going to put it on the shelf. It's going to be just, it'll be just like this on the shelf that I store it on. And that's so it can get air circulating inside there, and it won't, obviously it won't rust. It's cast aluminum, but that's how I like to store it. So to carry it in there though, you need the lid on. All right, guys. Hopefully this video has been helpful and you may have learned something, or maybe just refreshed your memory on what you should be doing. And I hope I answered all the questions for those of you that requested this video. It's truly a passion of mine to be in control of my food sources and know what is in a process jar. I don't mind having canned goods from the store, but I'd rather have it be my own. So if you've not tried canning yourself, it's warning, it is addictive, but it's so satisfying knowing that I have put the best quality and the best effort into producing the best thing I can put on the table. And obviously, it's fast food my way. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you next time for another delicious recipe. And if you'd like to know how I use some of these canned goods, go ahead and leave a comment about that too. All right, I'll see you.